Hey guys, and welcome back to yet another live broadcast. This is the live broadcast talking about business, specifically, business around photography or business in general. So if you're new to the channel or new to this video, welcome. I'm just going to go through some quick programming updates, just to, test my audio to make sure the audio is good, test the video, make sure the video is good, and all that good stuff. So basically, this channel consists of four things specifically. It consists of producing behind the scenes videos on lighting, posing. What up, D-Mac? What up, Bryce? What's going on? So it's basically focused around posing, lighting, composition, and post-production. So you will see behind the scenes videos around those four specific topics. In addition, we do 2 live broadcasts every week, it seems like right now. So we do one every Monday. It's called the Monday Critique, and basically what it is we talk primarily around photography, and we focus on critiquing 2 specific images submitted by you, the community. In addition to that, we also have a guest that appears on that show, and we try to central the show around one specific topic, primarily the topic that's geared towards the guest's specialty. In addition, we also do this show, which is called Talking Business. And what we do with this particular show, we sit down with a real business owner and we focus the conversation around business tips that can help you guys with your businesses, if that's what you're trying to do, help you with your business and transition into something, that should be beneficial to you and the entire community. So I hope that these shows, these live broadcasts, and also as well as the BTS coverage that you guys see on this channel, I hope all of this information collectively are helpful to you guys. So today we have, so I'm guessing you guys can hear me and all that good stuff, because I'm not seeing any saying anything about they can't hear me. So before I begin, Chad, do you have me on speaker? Do you have me on speaker, Chad? Do you have me on speaker? Okay, hang on. Making sure, because I'm hearing myself. I'm trying to see. Okay, try to figure out where that is coming from. Usually it's me. I usually make the mistake. So yeah, the audio seems good and everything seems good. Excellent. Thank you guys for that feedback. All right, so basically tonight we're gonna have a guest. He's gonna be focusing specifically around how to turn expressions into sales. I think you guys are interested in that, or should be interested in that. And for those of you that's joining us during this State of the Union, I appreciate you guys for hanging out, because you guys basically figured that this is more important than that, so I appreciate that. All right, so the guest today, his name is Pennington. I think Chad basically is, I want to say something, but I think he's gonna correct me if I'm wrong about this. But before I say something, before I'm wrong, I'm gonna say this. He's a wedding photographer. He's based out in Brooklyn, and he won like 2 awards, I believe. One from WPPI, and I forget the other one where he won it from. WPPI he won a silver in 2016, if I'm not mistaken. And then he won another award. So he's a very accomplished photographer. And the thing that I'm going to say that I think I'm not 100% right on, but I think I saw it on his Instagram. There's a local wedding coordinator here in North Carolina. She runs a magazine, and I think she was doing a photo shoot for Angela Angela Lee Yee or whatever. I forget the last name. Angela. She's from the Breakfast Club. And I think Chad actually shot her as well. So he is well-rounded photographer. So I'm gonna bring him on, and you know, he could tell us a little bit more about himself, and he could tell me if I'm wrong about that, what I just stated. So let me bring up his levels here, and let me bring Mr. Chad Pennington online. Hey Chad, what's going on?
How you doing, sir?
I am excellent. So was I right about that?
Yes. Before we begin, just want to clean up some things. So I can hear you talk now, but then like I hear a lag, maybe 5 seconds or so.
Yeah, you're probably listening to the live feed. So turn the live feed off, or turn the volume down.
Okay.
You hear it?
Yeah. So I can hear me in the background, though.
Yeah, so you're probably listening to the live feed. So if you're listening to the live feed, just mute it so you don't hear it. I have the same problem on my side when I hear.
I kept figuring. Okay, I kept trying to figure out like what is going on. I'm like, okay, now it's better. It's off now.
It's off now.
Great.
All right. So I think one of the folks is saying your volume went down.
Okay.
Your levels.
How about now?
I think it's probably still low. Let me see if I could turn you up. I probably would turn you up on my end. Let me see if I could turn you up on my end. I don't know if I could turn you up on my end.
I could
But
sing a little bit and probably, shatter some sound barriers.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I could sing a little bit and probably shatter some sound barriers if you want. I've been known.
Let me see if I could turn you up here, guys. Hang on. Let's see. Let's see what I could do, if anything.
Wow, wow, wow.
Hang on. Volume. Oh, it's at 100%. It's like, oh, I could go more. I could go more. Let's see. Let's see. Go beyond 100%. Want to make this boomy. Hopefully it doesn't spike. All right, so speak now. Let's see if the folks can hear you better with that volume boost.
Yes. Hello? Testing, testing.
You guys, tell us if you could hear him good. Hopefully next week. Oh, man, I thought it was Chad Pennington, the QB quarterback.
I played football before.
Yes, he dabbled in football before, so you could still still low.
I'm still low. Really.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Everything is plugged in. I can try again.
Oh, hang on. Where your audio is probably coming from your webcam. Go into your Google's, the preferences, and change the mic source to your I don't know if you can change it.
Well, I have the output and it says headphones, so I'm on the headphones. The next one's the Apple TV, so that won't be it. Then the input, it says external microphone. Let me maximize that.
Oh, there you go. That sounds a little bit better. Turn it up a little bit more.
Yeah, that's the way I maxed it out.
You maxed it out?
Yeah.
Tap your the mic that's on your shoulder. Tap it. Let me just see if it's coming from there. Yeah, it is coming from there. So it should be good.
Oh.
You just turn the music on.
Yeah, that was yeah.
All right, I think that sounds better. So
is that good?
Well, it sounds good enough.
Bryce said it's good.
So sounds like a webcam audio, Ernesto. Nah, we just tested it. It's not webcam. It's coming from his headpiece. So I think this is the best we could get it. So we're gonna rock it out with this. So just pump up your volume a little bit. I know my voice is gonna be a little bit boomy, but you're not gonna be listening to me for the most part. You can probably listen to Chad. All right, so to begin with, Chad, so give us, like a quick 15-second elevator pitch about yourself.
Yeah, so I started off as a graphic designer believe it or not. And from graphic design, I actually transitioned to photography. And it was funny because people ask, because Kanye West can draw, right? So everybody asked him, like, Kanye, why didn't you just become an artist? He said, well, I couldn't turn it up loud enough. And so I felt that same way about photography, whereas I used to do graphic design and I used to spend hours, countless hours of doing designs. And then someone would come back and say, you know what? I need to add one more person. And I felt like, oh my gosh, to do this thing all over again. Because they didn't know if you added 5 people, you had to come back and that extra image that they put in, you had to actually cut that image out, trim the white off the edges, feather the edges, make it all go in there, tweak the images. It was a whole crazy process. And so photography just became a love of mine. And I kind of went from there, and it's taken me around the world, and I've loved it ever since now.
That's cool. Uh, I'm gonna just do one more thing.
Sure.
Because your levels are still low.
It's still low.
So unplug it and see if you could just use your webcam audio. You're probably gonna have to change the settings.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you better.
Okay, so let me go here now.
And turn up the levels on that.
So let's go to sound. Now,
All right, keep talking.
yeah. How about now? How about now?
I think that's better than what it was before. It's now a little bit roomy, but I think we could at least hear you a little bit better now.
Are you sure? How about the users?
Well, they hearing exactly what I'm hearing as well.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm gonna have to say, and everybody's saying, yeah, that's a
James,
little bit better.
very good. Awesome. Thank you, guys.
All right, so sorry about that, guys. So I'm gonna have to ask Chad just to repeat himself there. I was just like focused on the audio for a minute, so you guys could actually hear what he was saying. So sorry about that, guys.
James said a church boy. I like that. How'd you know? So what happened is I started graphic design many years ago. And not many years ago. I'm not that old, right? So I started graphic design. And in graphic design, Kanye West, people ask him because he can actually draw, right? So people ask him, well, Kanye, your work is so good. Why didn't you become an artist? A graphic designer. He said, well, I couldn't turn it up loud enough. Thus, he had his music career. So the same thing where I used to do a design, and design could take me anywhere from 5 to 6 hours or more, depending on what you put in there and things like that. And I just kind of got to a point where everything was redundant. It seemed like I was doing the same thing over and over and over, and I wasn't fulfilled with it. So I just tried my hand at photography, and it was a whole different thing where I can actually create. I can make it moody. I can make it not so moody. I can make it me, who I was, and I loved it. I've been around the world with it, and I'm just keep going.
That's pretty cool. So what are some of the cool places photography taking you?
I've actually been to Cyprus, which is about an hour and a half away from Greece, where they
Wow.
have the good food called halloumi, right, where you can grill it and it doesn't melt. Um, I go to Nigeria once a year. I've done a wedding in Beirut, Lebanon, Beirut. And that wedding was cool because it's funny, we got there, everything was completely yellow. It was a dust storm. And all the Lebanese said that it hadn't been a dust storm in 50 years. It was
It
just
was just there for
completely,
you.
but yeah, and then, a few places all in the States, from California to Texas and everywhere else, but Mexico, Cancun, Jamaica, all those places like that, Costa Rica, Nicaragua. So just a few places.
Just to name a few.
Just a few.
If you go on Chad's Facebook, he has this map on there that shows his travels. It's really interesting. You could see where he was all over the world. I mean, he's been to places that I haven't even dream of going to yet. So it's pretty awesome. So as far as weddings are concerned, like what make you get into that genre, which is weddings? What made you want to do that?
So I was okay. So what happened was I was doing some graphic design for my pastor at the time, and what happened was he said, "Oh, we gotta." I said, "Well, pastor, all the images you have, they're really old." So we wound up hiring some photographers. A girl said, "Well, I know a photographer," and they kind of came, and I was fascinated by the process and everything. Like, you know, they were shooting tethered, and I'm like, oh, you can see the image. Like, it was a whole different experience, and I kept asking more and more questions. As I think about it now, I probably was taking them out of their rhythm and being really annoying. I was just so fascinated by it, and yeah, I just kind of, you know, I kind of just kept doing it, kept doing it, and then they were actually doing, you know, even though they were shooting him almost like a fashion campaign, I wanted to hang around those two guys, and they were actually doing weddings. So I just figured, you know, if they were doing, you know, still life or food photography, I probably would have did that. But it was just at the time doing weddings. So I just wanted to do whatever they were doing, because they were like my first introduction into photography, and that's kind of how I got into it.
Wow. And then after you got into, you know, doing weddings, was that when you started your business, or did you start your business before you, or did you shoot a couple of weddings before you started your business?
Man, I was just gung ho. My first person I shot was my wife. I grabbed my camera, and she did her hair up, and she went and put the little silk shirt on, turned the chair around, and she posed like this. And I didn't know what I was doing. I would just turn the settings and shoot until it looked good in the camera. And if it looked good, I stayed in that position, and that was it. She walked into the house one day, it was a teddy bear sitting up on the chair, and she said, "What's going on here?" And I had like a soft box up, and I was practicing with the teddy bear. And I just, you know, kind of kept going from there. And it wasn't until like later on, people used to ask certain questions, like, you know, certain business questions, like, "Do you have insurance?" I'm like, yeah. I'm like, "You need insurance?" And it, you know, and it was all kind of business questions I didn't know. And I, you know, was like, oh, okay, I have to really kind of start buckling down on it. And so as it, you know, and again, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't just go full state into the business aspect, because, you know, even when I was doing graphic design, everything was all cash for me. You know, it wasn't, I think it was no PayPal, it was no Cash App, none of that stuff. So it was more or less like you can get a check through a bank, but I was doing mostly cash, so I didn't have a need to think about, you know, putting it in the business, paying taxes, and things like that. It wasn't until later on you kind of saw the benefits of it. And believe it or not, there's a lot of art in business, you know, and I've learned that now. So it's like really cool to, you know, think about business aspects now.
That's pretty cool. What's the most when you started your business? What was the most challenging thing for you when you know, started your business and started to operate it as, you know, a real business?
A great question. I think one of the things was I had two kids, and so like both of my kids were born premature, and you know, so the thing was where, you know, if you know a mother, you know, she doesn't want to leave her kids. So my wife used to be, she used to go visit my daughter when she was in the hospital. Sometimes I had to leave the hospital and kind of go service the clients, but I used to stay there all night until, you know, because they would say visiting hours are to 9 o'clock. And my wife would somehow finagle the nurses, get cool with all the nurses, and she would stay to midnight. And then some days when I'm home, she would still be visiting the kids and things like that. And it kind of got, what that part didn't get to me. What got to me was, you know, whereas I would do, I never forget, I did like this 40th birthday party for this client. And I said, "Oh, I'll have your photos we shot it on Saturday," not knowing about workflow and things like that. I said, "Oh yeah, don't worry about it. I'll have it for you tomorrow." Tomorrow came, and the wife was excited. And I said, "Don't worry about it, Monday." And then we went to go see the baby on Monday. And I was like, "You know what? I have for you on Tuesday. Listen, give me the Thursday. I'll have those for you. Listen, Friday, I have to have them for you because I'm going out of time." And then after a while, he kept saying, "Dude, are you new? Like, is this your first time doing this?" No, you know, my baby is just new, and I don't really know. And I never knew about workflow and how long it would take. I never knew to give them a timeline, to set expectations and things like that. I just didn't know. And again, I service the client and things like that. And, you know, me and him talk every now and then, but personally, I think I lost a client in them because the type of customers or clients they do tons of parties and have tons of things at their house. So it was one of those little things of me now, like, set, you know, expectations to clients and follow through every time.
So as far as your business is concerned and client relationship, like, what's the most important aspect of that journey between client and business? Do you think is acquiring a client, or the actual service that you're providing to the client?
I think it's the service. I think it's the service of anything. I've heard Brian Tracy, which is like a big guru of mine, one of the guys I studied, and it's funny because I love talk radio versus anything, and I used to love like guys like Napoleon Hill, Earl Nightingale, Brian Tracy, guys like that. I used to just love listening to a lot of their metaphors and things like that about life. Never knew that I would need it for business, and I heard Brian Tracy say, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And so one of my buddies was actually saying something the other day. He was saying, I'm trying to figure out, why these clients want to do this and why they want to do that or do that. He said, yes, when I talk to him, I kind of go right into the business aspect of it. And I was telling him that part of, once I learned the art of that, and like it's almost a part of customer service because you have to care. You have to care about people's well-beings and things like that if you want to service them. I never forget, I did a workshop recently, and we were talking about album design. And when I got to the end of the class, I was saying that I retouch all of my images in the album. So one of the students asked me, and she said, "Wait a minute, you mean you retouch all of them?" And so sarcastically, I said, "If you care." Maybe that wasn't the right terminology, but what I was saying from an aspect of, if I was a client and I looked through my images, and if I'm a detailed person, I want to see that you actually took time out to care because I gave you my money. So I think customer service is a big aspect of it.
So with that in mind, do you actually do, like, I don't know how many weddings you do a year, but do you actually like do all the post-production work yourself, or do you like outsource that as from a business perspective?
So because I was a graphic designer, I do it all myself. Now there are drawbacks to that because, again, having two active kids now, they're not little anymore. They're 6 and 7. No, they're 6 and 8, and they're really active, and so it's a little difficult for me now. And sometimes it hinders the process. I think once or twice I tried to use different services, and I'll give you a quick example. One time I tried to use one service, and the guy did the images, and it was 40 images I had to kind of submit for this book for this bride, and out of 40 images, I had to redo 38 of them, and I was like, oh man. And his only response to me was, okay, well, next time when you come back, we'll try to see what we can do next time. And I felt like, ugh. Then I tried another service, and then again, I get it. They were saying, well, we're not going to get it right the first time. It's like having a relationship. But I kept thinking, like, man, if I'm giving you guys $300, I don't want to go 3, 6, 9, 12, 16, all the way until I'm in a hole, and to say, okay, we finally got it. So again, now I'm still doing it myself because I'm anal about certain things. But in the future, I'm thinking about kind of going to another relationship just to kind of get some more time back and just create more perfect days for myself and my family.
Yeah, I definitely understand that aspect of it because, time management is really critical. It was only like, for me personally, like if I do a wedding and I have to sit down and do the post-production on it, it's a couple of hours you could sit down there and try to knock that out.
Absolutely.
So I totally get it. So why is expression so important to you?
Oh man, expression is everything, because I personally think you can have a great model, because we can cheat the system all day, right? We can get a handsome guy, we can get a handsome girl, we can get great clothes, we can put in great location, we can put them in great light. But if it's no expression in the body language, if there's no expression in, in their actual tone, it doesn't matter. There's no expression. Sometimes expression can be just looking at the camera, not saying anything. But if there's no expression, to me, the image is just a blah image. To me, any image you've seen from the Dutch painters, and you go to any portrait gallery, you'll look at those guys and you'll see expression within the image. You kind of step back and kind of really take your time and look at it. There's expression all inside of it. So I think expression is important in everything we do. I think it's really, even if you dress a certain way, you're expressing yourself.
Yeah.
So that's why I love it.
definitely agree there. I didn't see this question, or else I wouldn't ask you that question, because that question that I asked you was basically the transition into the presentation. But James Parrish had put in a question in here, as I just noticed it. The question is kind of unrelated to the expression thing, but he's asking, speaking of timeline, what is your timeline for turnaround?
The timeline for turnaround is, I tell clients, about 10 to 12 weeks. Now, the question is, could I turn it around faster? Probably. Not always, probably. But I'd rather err on the side of 10 to 12 weeks. And if I get it faster, I'm the hero. You know, because I just don't know how my schedule goes, right? Like, for instance, in August alone, I have 7 weddings in August, right? Just that month. So everything is back to back to back. You know, I have a few. One is on Thursday, one's on Friday. This is the very next week, and you're flying, this and that. You still got to be a dad and a husband. So I can't say, hey, I'll give it back to you in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Now, I get it. Some people say, you know, they say content is king, but then they say you got to get it back to them fast and things like that. And I get it. I'm a personal believer that food tastes better out of the oven than the microwave.
And also setting expectations is also critical. I mean, if up front you know, it's clear up front that, hey, it's going to take, you know, 10 weeks or more for you to get back these wedding albums or images. And if they say, okay, that's awesome, at least it's up front, then they're aware of it. There's no surprises. And if you get it to them earlier, you're a superstar. So
sure, because and the thing is also, I've heard clients that say, man, where's the images? Where's the images? Where's the images? And they all say the same thing. Oh my God, it was worth the wait. And when I hear that, it's just like, yes, you know, another satisfied client. That's what I love to hear. Like, it was worth the wait. It's almost like you're waiting in a restaurant and the food comes and you're like, I waited for this, but they're like, oh my God, this is so good. Like, I love it. And I'm always glad to hear that.
What do you think about folks that's saying, with this day and age that we're in today, where you're at a wedding and everybody have their cell phones, and basically they're hitting the social media before you do, and you know, you have your 10-week waiting period before an image is shown. So what do you say to those folks out there that saying, no, you should be, you know, be faster? Like, what do you do to battle that?
Well, what happens is it's the gift and the curse, right? So it's like, because it's digital, people automatically assume, well, my uncle does weddings and he shoots them right to the camera. Now, I'm not going to debate and say that uncle is Uncle Bob or Uncle Tom or Uncle Jimmy and say, let's look at his images versus my images. And look at his shadows and my images. You know, and look at his shadows and my shadows. It's not about that. You know, we did a wedding one time in Cyprus, and you know, we had to ask like the couples, like, hey guys, out of respect, and usually when you say that for the couple, if the guests are really there for the couple and they mean well, they won't do it. I usually say, out of respect for the couple, can you please not post to social media until they get the official images? And then usually that will hold some back. Some don't care. You can't do anything about that. But it happens. And you know, it's a situation one time, a buddy of mine, where the users kind of put all the images up. Even my own wedding, where one of the bridesmaids, she stood behind my photographer, shot all of these images. The next 2 days later, no, the next day on Kodak Share. Are you familiar with Kodak Share?
No, never heard of it.
Yeah, so you'll shoot images and you'll literally go to Kodak.com and you can literally share the images right online. You can say, hey, here's all the images from Chad and Denise wedding. And you click and watch the slideshow, all the images. And she literally stood behind my photographer and she shot a lot of the images. So once we saw them, they were like, oh, okay. Oh, look at this moment. Look at this moment. And once we got back the official images, yeah, they were a little better, but it was like, oh, anything else? Anything else? You know, so now it's a thing of, I kind of prompt on my couples like, yeah, how about that unplugged wedding? And I give them a situation where I did it in Mexico, and it was unplugged, and it was really great. Like, nobody had anything up. Of course, at the reception if you want to have it, but during the ceremony, just enjoy yourself. That's why you hired the professionals to do that. So again, I always say the same thing, out of respect to the clients. If you can, you know, put down, you know, if you can not post on social media, that'd be really cool. You know?
Yeah, that's it's a tough battle in this day and age. So we're gonna transition, guys, into the core of this video, which is basically how to turn expressions into sales. So Chad is gonna basically share his screen, and he's gonna go through a presentation. Now that shouldn't bar you guys from not asking questions if you hear something that warrants some more details that you want to find out more information about. Put the questions in the chat. Just put the word question in front of your question so I'll know it's a question, or put a question mark in front of your question so I'll know it's a question. And then from there, either we will address the questions as we're looking at the slides, or we'll address the questions towards the end of the presentation. So that being said, let's strap in and let's get educated from Mr. Chad Pennington. So
awesome. So I actually love the questions. So, guys, the more questions, the merrier for me. Super duper love the questions. So tell me, can everyone see the screen?
Yeah, I could see the thumbnails to the left too.
Really? Let's bury those.
Yep, there we go.
Okay. So can you just see the?
Yep.
Just
the presentation.
Cool. So of course, it's no stranger to what we're talking about is how to turn expressions into sales. Now, I will say this: I'll try to get through it as expediently as I can. The thing about me teaching is I love to teach. I don't believe in, even when I do my own workshops, I don't believe in just taking money just to make money. Right? I know we have to make money, but I believe in the longevity of a person's career and what they're really asking you to do. So again, I'll try to get through this as fast as I can, but I really want to teach and actually show you something. And the last point I'll make is you're going to notice some images are retouched, some images are not retouched. What I did today was purposely try to dumb down some of the images because I watch a lot of Chinese movies, right? And different things like that. And there's a lot of philosophy and expression inside of those movies. And there's a situation where Bruce Lee actually talks about, he's showing a student and like where's the mark? And he's actually watching Bruce Lee's finger and he keeps smacking him and saying, no, you're missing the mark. A lot of times if you put certain images up, people can get caught up in, ooh, how is that done? And how is that done? And they can totally miss the mark of what we're talking about, which is turning expressions into sales. So again, I didn't really put images up here to really be impressive. I just really put images up here to teach. And with that, let's move on. So this is some of the places where I hang out. Of course, there's no stranger. That's my .com, SoBeItArtPhotography.com. That's my Instagram, which is at SoBeItArtPhotography.com. And here's my Twitter handle, SoBeItArt.
Hey, Chad.
Yes.
Just an FYI, I don't see it.
You don't see it here. Okay.
There we go. That's it.
Okay, so I have to stay in this realm. I got you. Okay. Okay, so let's go here. 1 second. Okay. Okay, cool. All right. So, and here's my Twitter handle, of course, and here's my Facebook, facebook.com at ChadP23. Now, some of you are asking why it's not So Be It Art Photography, because when I started, I was kind of mixing back and forth, and it's a long story. Just email me later on, Chad at So Be It Art Photography, if you want to talk about that, which I don't think you do, and we'll go from there. All right. Cool beans. All right. So, we're talking about expressions, but without expressions, I think it's impossible to interact, right? So we know interact is the process by which different things affect each other or change each other. They affect each other and they actually change each other, right? So pay attention to this. Now, the thing about photography is there's a famous photographer, and don't quote me on this, I believe it was Elliot Erwitt who said, photography, it's all about where you stand, because where you stand matters, right? So everyone knows this famous image. You know this image, right?
Yeah.
Famous image, right? But I wanted to, the story behind the photographer that's right there between Muhammad Ali's legs, right? So the story goes that the guy who actually took the photo, he was in this guy's place. Now, this photographer says, well, I'm one of the senior photographers that's here for all of the events, and you have to move. The other guy was saying, like, well, I'm here first. And he says, no, but you have to move. So he moved and he got the iconic shot. So photography, a lot of times, is about where you stand, right? You can be a wonder if you want to be, but if you're not in the correct location, then you're just not in the right location. I'll give you an example of that, right? So another, different moment, pretty much the same thing, but it's not the same. It's all about where you stand. Referee came in on the next shot, but it's pretty much all about where you stand. You agree?
Yep, absolutely.
Yes. So a lot of times what I try to do with all of my couples is I try to not only get in the right position where I'm standing, I try to see how many expressions I can get from each couple on different scenes. So with this couple, Chris and Lisa, they're one of the couples that they make it hard on the next couples because they have so much fun. You really don't have to do anything with them. They just have so much fun. I'm actually shooting their maternity session coming up, and the way they are here, it's just so much fun. And so with them, again, I just had to get into position because, again, if it's not broke, why should I fix it? For me, I should get into position and I just kind of fire away and let them do what they do. But then it's my job again to say, let's try something else. So I asked Lisa, I said, can you kind of shimmy on Chris? And she said, what do you mean shimmy? I said, just give him a little shimmy. And so that's what she did. Right? And then she turned around, and it's just a fun moment. Maybe he thinks she's a quality piece of veal. I don't know. But she shimmy for him,
Hey, Chad, one
Sure.
thing. I don't mean to interrupt with this flow. Could you make the images a little bit bigger or no?
These particular ones I can't because they're on a different hard drive. Let's see. This one, no. It's
that's
some
fine.
of the,
That's
now,
fine.
Are these fine?
Yeah, those are larger.
Yeah, it'll get better. I promise.
Okay.
I promise. Right. So with this couple again, I just wanted to go out and express more. Now, if you notice, there are two different lights going on. We shot them with one light here, and it just looked kind of blah. Their expressions is already going to do the job for me. But I decided, again, I get bored really easy. That's one thing about me. I get bored super easy. So once I kind of shot them regular, it didn't look like, it was like, yeah. So I had my assistant come, and he's holding the light right here on them. And I said, it needs something else. It's almost like you're tasting a meal and you say it needs something else.
Mm-hmm.
So what we did was just kind of put a light here, and it kind of went all the way around the shape of this. And thus we kind of got the expression with them there. Then again, I get bored easily, which is the same place, right? From the perspective, it's different. So it's about where you stand. As you see, like the length on this is a little different than this, but we just changed the lighting up and went from this about where you stand. Same couple, different thing. It's about where you stand. But again, if you notice from shot to shot, the expression, all of it give you a certain type of expression. Now this one, again, they're not smiling at anything. It's more sullen, but it's still expressive because of the light and the color and the mood.
And a story.
The story, right? You can do the same thing with an older couple. I just recently shot their wedding, and I mean, she was bawling in tears. She's like, oh my God, I saw the slideshow. I could not stop watching. Like, Chad, you did a great job. And I mean, again, they're an older couple. So I didn't expect them to do some of the things that this couple does, right?
All right.
So with an old couple, sometimes I'll purposely put you out of your comfort zone. So I'll do something like this. I'll say, listen, Terry, Eric, you go over there and just reach for her love. And they're just like, what? Just do it. Just do it for me. It's something that seems real odd, but when they play this back later on, they're like, oh my God, like that felt really great. It was something different that I normally wouldn't do, but we thank you for it, right? Yeah. So that brings me into my area of comfort zone, right? If you break it, you'll get something new. It's one of my couples here. If you know them, she works for the city and she's really focused on the numbers. She's really analytical, and kind of so is he. And I said, hey guys, let's pretend we're kids and let's walk on the tracks with our arms up. It just came to me. And they said, okay, let's do it. And so that's what we did. Even right here, I put them by this yo sign and I said, do you guys know what the bump is? You know what the bump is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I said, you know what the bump is? So they literally, and this is how analytical they are. They stood there with their arms up like that, and they bumped for about 30 straight seconds until she said, Chad, I have a headache. He was bumping me way too hard. And when it was over, this is what he did. He expressed himself. And so, again, I put him in situations, and we just kind of have fun with different expressions. I even told them, I said, listen, I want to do something silly, guys. I said, if you don't want to do it, just let me know. I'm going to try something silly. I'm going to have you guys make faces. So they're like, are you serious? Like faces? I'm like, yeah, just crazy faces. And they're like, yeah, but this is not us. I said, just indulge me. Just indulge me. And they did. And the thing she said to me was, oh my God, these were the best photos out of all of them that we love, because they were out of the comfort zone. So again, I tell everybody, I don't care if the couple comes dressed in the mink down to the floor, always try them out of the comfort zone and you'll get something cool. And so one thing I try to do a lot of times, I try to create reactions without people. Do you think that's possible?
Without people?
Yeah.
I guess if you put the objects in places that tell a story. So yes, you could create a reaction without people. Okay,
I got a photography nerd on me. Nice, I like that. Right? So the cool thing is, I was doing a wedding in Puerto Rico last summer. You know, we're still praying for the people in Puerto Rico because they had to travesty with all the weather and everything like that. So we're doing the wedding here in Puerto Rico, and a lot of times, even while I'm on the wedding on the job, I always teach even some of my students. I teach them to shoot garbage, right? And the garbage is where you're just kind of practicing all the time. So I'm looking at different situations, and I'm always asking myself the same thing with some of the couples that you saw about expressions is, how can I shoot this and do it different? I can shoot it straight on, and I have the flag here. How can I make this expression different? Maybe we can go down to the side. We can try something different. It's the same image. It's the same setting, but it's a different expression. You just try something different. Same here. The couple kind of had these drinks that were there. You can kind of shoot it one way. You can shoot it this way, or you can shoot it this way. It's all about how you express yourself. The couple was, they kind of had two buses that they chartered for everybody to come into the hacienda. And I said, I want to get this in a certain frame. And I said, I want to challenge myself to get this in a certain frame. The couple told me, Chad, you need to get out the way because this bus is a little larger than yours and it's stronger than you. And so I said, I'm going to take my chances. And so we did that. And I really wanted to get it right in this quadrant of the frame. And see, so it was a thing of me just kind of studying, challenging myself just to get it in that part of the frame and then move on. And so over here, I tried to kind of see if I can make like a cool, odd shape of it. Did I nail it? Yes or no? That's up to your interpretation. But again, I'm not afraid to try something different. Sometimes you have to be like a movie scout and you got to pre-scout. Some people don't pre-scout, some people do. I used to do them in the beginning of my career. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, just depending on what's going on. But I do try to get to places pretty early than clients, especially if it's new, and then kind of scout out what I want to do because it makes my time more efficient for them. So we get to this location and I kind of saw like this etched out thing of New York. And my bride, she loves New York, and it's all in her dialect and everything, and she loves New York. And so I put my assistant like in this little form, and I'm saying, man, I want to kind of shoot them there. So he's like, okay, cool. So I'm like, well, we have this this composition. Let's go out and let's find some more compositions for them. So we did. You know, we found something to kind of shoot through. Typical stuff you see us do. Some of that. Again. Is this award-winning? No, it's just an Adirondack chair. Why did I lean back and do it? It gives it some visual weight. I'm just trying something. I'm just constantly going out, shooting, just trying something different. They liked it. It's just because it's something different. It's not the same thing. Sometimes it doesn't have to have a rhyme and reason for certain clients. It just has to be different for them. That's why they hire you. Same chair, it's just me getting close to the chair, shooting in the back of the chair. Do you like it? Do you love it? I'm not here for that, but it's something different for the client. You still try things. So this couple, again, about expressions, they say, oh man, I love it when we actually rub noses together. So I'm always thinking about, when I'm shooting, I'm always thinking about sales and things like that. So they love the artsy stuff. So I can try to do something here that's cool, artsy. That's an album spread. Maybe this is an album spread, maybe not, but this is definitely an album spread. I can make that album spread. I can try to add some of that, maybe yes or no, but this is definitely an album spread. So if I wanted to, I can put the other one side by side, and that's an album spread right there. right? So I shoot them. They love this image because that's something they love to do. You put a tight crop on it. You have the version where they're holding hands, which is another form of expression. They actually put these clothes on because they want to express themselves in certain ways and coordinated form of expression. So I got that form of expression, the holding hands form of expression, her hairdo, his haircut, their form here. You try to get every aspect of what they ask you to do. I want to do something cool for them because, again, my name is So Be It Art Photography. So why not try to give them some art in my interpretation? So I shot like a cool silhouette. And the thing about silhouettes, I always challenge myself and my students is to get a clean silhouette. A lot of times people do silhouettes because they see the black shape, but it's really like blocked up and it's just one big crazy shape. So I'm always trying to get a clean silhouette. Hey, Joey, do me a favor. Hold your leg up, sir. Hey, Fallon, kick your leg up and kind of lean in right now. Click, and I just put like a little tilt on it just to make it a bit fun. Now, from my experience, I know this. If you always shoot a silhouette, I dare you to do this. Run on the other side of the silhouette and see what it gives you. This is what it gives you sometimes.
Pretty cool. I got a question for you.
Sure.
Do you always shoot with the intention, well, with the mindset that you put this into an album for the album spread that you were talking about earlier?
Now I do. That's the business side of me coming out, and it's not so much of me making money. It's a thing of because I became a dad and a husband now. I see down the road for the future. I see kind of what the client hired me for and what they will want to kind of look at years from now. So if I challenge them to do stuff, they'll say, oh yeah, Chad, I know we're gonna love this photo. Especially later on when I shoot the photo, because I kind of engage my clients. And after talking to them, I try to get a feel of them. And so I say, you know what, let me try this. I think they'll love this. And then if they love it, it's really a plus for me because when I lay down the album, they'll never say no to it because they already loved it already.
Got it.
So going back to that same photo that I talked about, my assistant got really hyped and he tells her, he's like, listen, we have this killer photo for you. You guys are going to love it. I looked at him and said, dude, do not tell them that. I'm like, because if I don't nail it, this is bad news. And so the funny part was he's only one person there. I didn't account for 2 heads have to go there, right? And so literally they stood behind me and, we tried to make the shot. I'll show you later on if I have time and I find the photos again. We went through about 234 shots, I believe. Mm-hmm. I think it was 234 just to get the one shot. And this is the shot we came out with.
That's pretty creative. Even though you had to put both of them in there, you made it work.
Yeah, so I just tried to make the lips touch and go for it. I literally had to get close to the glass and keep telling them, get closer to me, get closer, 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 closer. Like they literally were touching me, and I had to kind of narrow down so I didn't have I didn't have any lack on the photo. And if you notice this one where I'm kind of touching the top, this one I kind of brought it down that way I can show actually more on it. So yeah, it's a trial and error. But again, it comes from you just trying something in the beginning. It's more expression, right? Black and white is a form of expression. Some people think it lasts longer. This is not LeBron James. This is a regular groom of mine. So he's actually in his room, and I'm asking him, do me a favor, just kind of look forward to me. It was somebody's face I just loved. That's why I just left it in this gritty form. I don't think it would have the same look if it was nice and smooth. So I asked him just to stand here for me and just look straight for me, and we just shot it. And I just literally just exposed for the front of the face. And again, I could imagine this. Now, again, we're talking sales now. I can imagine this once you retouch this image, right? And you take out some of the grittiness, but still leave some of the story there in his face because the expressions are the wrinkle lines of where he's been in his life and things he's done in his life, right? Mm-hmm. You can put this on a big giant canvas, clean his eyes up and things like this. Now he has this in his man cave. And it's a big giant piece of wall portrait that you can sell to him now. You got to think of sales every time you shoot. But you still have fun doing it. Another thing, a groom who's actually waiting upstairs. I guess he's contemplating on whether he's going to walk down the aisle or not. But we kind of went, took a photo of him. And then again, I get bored easy, as I said before, right? Same groom. I just made him straighten up a bit. And I stood on the side a little bit. This was all in camera other than the black and white. This is how it looked. I didn't, wash anything out. This is just how it came out. Another guy, you know, one of the groomsmen, just kind of taking a quick smoke break after the wedding, you know, right before the reception. But again, he's expressing himself. You catching his expression with the glass in his hand, the whole story, and everything else. You know, I kind of went overboard on the retouching here. I know. But then you can still correct it and make it a positive. Skin is still smooth, but it still gives it a timeless feel with the father and the daughter, and it goes from there.
Yeah, it's a beautiful capture.
Thank you. This is another couple that I went down to Atlanta. The wedding is in Alabama. I'm shooting their wedding coming up this year, and they flew me down. Again, it's a couple that lovely couple, but just like some of my older couples, you have to find your couple, right? So what I mean by that is, if you're used to shooting couples like the ones I showed you in the beginning, Lisa and Chris, that always give you the expression, this is not that couple. So you have to find the expression in them. You have to find out what makes them tick. So sometimes you have to put them in a certain situation. You may have to talk a certain way to them, and that way her expression can come out to him. And so as she leaned on him and he kind of made the face like that, and I kind of caught the whole expression of what her shoulders were actually telling me, leaning towards him, and we went from there.
Is that you know, to getting to know your clients, is that basically a lot of preparation work beforehand, you know, sitting down, talking to them, getting to know them, to figure out when you're working with them on the day of the photo shoot, what items to pull out of them to get that expression out of them? Is that what you generally do, or you take a different way, a different route?
Great question. I usually do that. Also, once in a while, I'll peruse their social media just to see, you know, how they are, what kind of music they like, see if we have something in common or things like that. But a lot of times it's, you know, I've learned in life to learn a lot, to learn a little bit about a lot of stuff, right? I don't have to know everything that there is about Bitcoins and things like that, but I know a little bit about Bitcoin. So, you know, when you kind of share in the same values and beliefs and things like that, because if it's something that I find interesting, like let's say we didn't agree on 3 or 4 colors, but then they may agree on a certain alphabet. And it's just like, oh, you know what? Well, that makes sense. And then now we have something to talk about, and I can engage them from there. And then I from there, I kind of build up that's the whole of the lesson, but I kind of build up this thing to say how far I can go with them, and, you know, and how far I can't go with them. It's just something I kind of built up over time that I learn how to do with each and every couple, no matter what.
Got it.
Yeah. So this is really cool right here. This is the same tip, different couple. Give you a quick blast on this. I got hired to do an engagement session in Atlanta. While I'm in Atlanta, my photography buddy calls me and says, hey, when are you leaving? I'm leaving on this day. He says, well, I had a couple. The photographer couldn't shoot them. Can you shoot them while you're there? And I'm just like, okay. So it's really weird because couple A, which is right here, they hired me to come down, and it got really late and we didn't finish the shoot. So the next day I had to finish their second part of their session and then turn around and then shoot couple B in the same locations, right? Mm-hmm. And so, and these are my Nigerian couples. I love Nigerian couples. If anybody knows me, they know I love my Nigerian couples. And so with this, the way I started off, I said, how can I get like a cool frame out of this? So I literally pulled out my phone, and inside the camera, I kind of mimicked what that would look like. And I kind of took random shots of that, almost like they would do in Hollywood studios. Like they would actually take plates or just take shots of, you know, the scene as it is, you know, and they would imagine, like, once the person gets there, what they would do in the frame. So I do that with my phone sometimes, and then I'll say, oh, this will be a cool frame. Here's a cool frame. So it's something that I kind of taught my assistant, and we kind of do it all the time now. And so I put the couple here, and we kind of went, and we kind of just had different pieces of fun expressing ourselves, right? So now come the next day, one of my Nigerian girls, I pulled up to this place, and she said, oh my God, what is this place? What is this? She's like, I don't know. What, Chad, where's this place? What are we going to do? And I said, listen, just trust me. Because you got to understand, they did not know me. I just met them, right? Now, this girl right here, I knew her. We actually grew up together. So she told me, she said, listen, his name is Toyin. She said, this is my baby. She said, he's not going to talk that much. And I said, don't worry, Doris, I got him. She said, okay, he's not going to talk that much. I said, okay. And again, like I told you before, I found a common ground with him. And once I found the common ground with him, I showed him one of the photos. He looked at it and said, "Hey, I like that." And that was it. We're off to the races, right? So now this couple right here, which is shot the next day, I don't know them at all. I literally just met them, and we pulled up in the car. We got out the place, and he's looking like, because it was like an old abandoned club in Atlanta, and I think like the Fourth Ward area, and they're looking like, what? I'm like, just trust me. So I put them in a situation, and I said, you know what? I got to take their mind off of the atmosphere and focus and make their own atmosphere. So I think I told her to bite down on his ear right then and there. We went from there. I did something again that was probably out of their comfort zone because he's more like posh, you know, and because he told me a little bit about his background and the schools he went to. So I said, hey, let me just cover his face. And I said, when she moves her hand, just make a face. When she moves her hand, make a face. Every time she moves her hand, make a different face. And that's what she did. And so we just kind of had fun. We did something totally different, right? Next day,
I could just imagine that in an album spread, those different expressions.
It's really cool, man. You lay it right out. You can lay this out with another one. This is there, you know, and you lay this out right then and there. You know, it's a whole process that you can do, and everything just revs up for you. You know, so this is the next day, right, with the first couple. And we're at one of the big hotels in Atlanta, and so we're looking for a location. As he walked by, I see this light hitting them. I'm like, hey guys, it's back up 1 second. And I said, Doris, just kind of just lay on Torian's turtle shell. She's like, his turtle shell? I'm like, yeah, on his chest, the turtle shell. You know, the turtle shell just pops up. Just lay on his turtle shell. And so he grabs her. She just lays there in peace. And I just shot her like that. And that's a frame right there. I have enough space right here. If I had to add copy for something else, because again, this goes back to my graphic design days. I'm always thinking about, you know, album spreads, and I'm thinking about enough space for copy if I had to. If the couple wanted to make this a save the date, I can add copy there. If they don't, it's still enough visual weight that the focus is on them, not on the background. Make sense?
Yep.
Cool. So what I did, again, this couple was shot maybe about maybe an hour or so after them. So I did the same trick. You know, I didn't have time because they told me, hey, we got to get a flight out soon. I didn't have time, so that's what we did. Went to the light. We did some things. I had her kind of look this way. Then I had him kind of laying up to her, and she made that little piece of expression on her face. So just can you imagine once you retouch it and you get the flyaways away, clean her all up? It's a cool spread in the album, side by side. It's a dangerous combination. So same couple, right? From before, you just try something different. It didn't matter because I have enough scenes where I actually show their face. They're hiring me because I have art in my name, so be it art. I want to create some art for them, right? I don't want to do the same thing that, you know, they can get anybody else to do. So you can see the silhouettes of their face, you can see the hands and the expression. That's what I try to do. So if I laid out this one next to this one side by side, it's a whole different expression. And again, you have an album cell right there.
Yeah, at that last image, I don't think I've ever seen an image capture like that before. I think that's pretty creative.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much. So this couple right here, this is the last photo of the day. I said, I don't know what I want to do. I said, you know what? Let me do something here. My goal was to take this couch. Can you see like that circle I'm making on the couch?
Yeah.
My goal was to take this couch and just make that the focal point, put them there, have them look forward, and then look right at each other. You guys look forward and look right at each other. Keep laughing. Ha, 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 ha. Click. There we go. Now we got another spread in the album, right? And again, I give them enough, so if they want to take some out, it's fine. They have enough good stuff in there, and we go from there. Now, this right here is literally behind this couch. It's over this area right here. Saw this, and I said, Doris, kind of stand there. She kind of posed me and things like that. Then I said, Torian, come over here with her. And I said, Doris, just grab him by the arm and Torian, just lean over a little bit right there. I didn't have to show his whole face. I didn't have to do the usual where she leans all the way back. I just wanted a piece of his face just to show out. I try to do things where I can have the brain always thinking like, why? Why is he doing that? Why is he not doing it the regular way? He should be leaning her back. His whole face should be exposed. Says who? My name is So Be It Art Photography. And that's why I try to create something different for the couple, because you can still see the expression of the lines that are going through them. The light is doing its own thing. The facial expressions are doing another thing. She's holding him another expression. And so that's another album cell for you.
Well, this is why people hire, you know, professionals to do these types, to create these types of art for them, you know. If they want the standard stuff, people could just take out their cell phones.
I totally agree. Totally agree. So now let's deal with some shapes and textures. We're going to move right through this kind of fast, right? So shapes and textures had a couple right here. His last name was McMillan, so it was obvious. We passed this. We saw the M. Hey, Haas, that's his name. Her name is Charity. Get right there. Quick backstory on him. He used to be down with Rockefeller Records, and then with Naughty by Nature and Queen Latifah, and it's a whole backstory on this guy. But that's my guy. So I had them stand, of course, in the M for McMillan. Went from there, and again, that's one form of expression, her looking straight like that. But remember what I told you, I like to really express more. So I kind of made a joke, kind of do something here, right, and express themselves. We kind of went from there. Another couple here, he called me, he says, hey, listen, I want to be Superman, and she wants to be Wonder Woman. I said, congratulations. And he's like, no, like we want to do a theme shoot. And I'm like, oh, okay, great. And he's like, she's gonna have like a Wonder Woman outfit. And she literally, if you can see, she literally let me see, it's clear. She literally had a lasso. It was literally had a lasso on, and you can't see in this photo. She had like the metal like bracelets that Wonder Woman has on. So she had a Wonder Woman shirt on. You had a Superman shirt on. It was really cool. But again, going with the theme of textures and shapes, I just wanted to get them there, lean them back, so they go in the same form of the texture and shape. So it's bending right here. I'm trying to mimic him bending his back. So again, this art is already forming some expression here, right? So let's try to do the same thing on a couple. Let them form expression. Let them try to do the same thing this is doing. You know, and again, let's give it some visual weight. So now, when you give layers and layers of flavor, your food always tastes better. But now when you do the same thing with the photography, where you got the visual space, you're doing the same thing as the shape is doing, you're giving them some expression here, it's layers and layers of flavors. Or if you're into hip hop like me, layers and layers of punchlines. Same couple, same area. Let's kind of have some fun. Let me step back and let me let the shape do its thing. The shape is already doing its thing right here. You guys hold each other right there. You guys talk about something that's funny. Boom. We got our shot right there in our expression. Got a groom right here. It's a lot going on with him. You know, he's getting married for the first time. His father just passed away. His father gave him the A-OK to marry the girl of his dreams. And so he stood there, and I kind of watched, and I kind of saw this. It was funny because maybe that's his father, right? If you think about it in a spiritual term, maybe that's his father kind of right there beaming light on him. We kind of got that shape right there. And so I kind of pulled back just so you can see, like, this is where the shape was coming from. There's nothing I added in Photoshop or anything like that. The shape was literally all over the walls, and he just kind of stood in the right area. So now his brother comes to him, you know, because his brother understands the moment, right? But again, remember what I said in the beginning, it's about where you stand. So this is a moment. This is an expression. But sometimes think of how would it look from a different angle? And that's what I did.
I gotta tell you, man, when I saw this image, I don't know these people,
yeah.
You know, but this image really, really moved me. That was an awesome capture.
Yeah, two brothers, man. And so I moved and I saw this. And sometimes I feel the moment to, once I get it, I got to back up now and kind of stay professional, you know, because those are the moments. So, and this is right before he sees his bride. He has this kind of, these feelings going through, right? And that's what happens. So kind of speeding up a little bit more. Movement in photographies, it never fails. And again, I'm just giving you more and more tidbits. So if you ever get lost or some of you guys ever get stuck, you can kind of keep moving. I see Francis says slicing. So I said, Charity, can you move around? She says, yes. Now, image a little bit out of focus, but I don't care. It's about the movement. She's still having fun. We did tons of dances and had her moving around, you know, vigorously and things like that, just to kind of jog and kind of get her moving. So ask a couple to move sometimes, right? You got a couple right here that's at a winery. They're out, and I had them kind of express themselves. Same thing, this same couple we saw before. I said, but again, me knowing a little bit about a lot of stuff, I know about Nigerian, and one thing I love is I love the dance. So I asked them, I said, do me a favor. I said, I want you to express yourself in a dance to him. So she starts to dance for him a little bit. You know about this stuff already.
Yeah. When I saw this, I was like, they have to be Nigerian. I was like,
yeah.
The movement alone.
Yeah. So I had the, what they call it, komole.
I don't know the name. Yeah, I'll butcher it if I say it.
I think it's called komole. I think it's to get down, if I'm right. My Nigerians are going to get me. If I'm right. And yeah, so she's dancing for him. And so I said, cool, let me just pull back and see can I get another expression, right? Because I just wanted the expression on the art of the wall. But you know, now he's doing his thing, and they're doing their thing, right? Another form of expression. Just keep it moving, right? I always tell people to try something new on the wedding, because your brain will actually thank you for saying, thank you for not being monotonous. Thank you for not doing the same thing over and over and over and over. Thank you for not putting us on the conveyor belt, right? So try something different. You're on an engagement session, just try something different. It almost feels like the Scooby-Doo van. I'm kind of telling my age now, but it feels like the Scooby-Doo van where they actually walk in between. And they kind of hold their hands. Again, it's nothing magical. It's nothing that's going to win an award, but it's something cool with just them two. With the front of the bus, or the middle of the bus, and the end of the van here. You're on a wedding. I did the traditional shoot her regular with the makeup artist. So I just tried several different things. So I said, you know what? I get bored easy. What would it look like if I can put her in this quadrant, and I'll put her here? Let's see what it looks like. And so again, same expression. You can see the makeup artist here, but you can't see it here. You can see her hand here and hand. It's, you know, it's a lot of rhymes and rhythms in here, but that's what I try to do. Try something different. Once I left the room with her, because I got bored, I had so many shots of her. I saw the pastor kind of getting his speech ready, and then I saw the grandmama here with the granddaughter. So it's two different stories going on. Another form of expression. And again, when you lay these things out in the album, they all mean something. They all mean something. Your bride, again, they hire me because I'm so be at art photography. So now when I give them this, you know, it's a form of expression that they'll love, you know? Now, I'm on an engagement session, right? So this is the guy, Haas, I told you about, the one that used to be down on Rockefeller Records. And as he was standing there waiting for her to get ready, I just said, you know what, Haas, I love this image. Let's just kind of do some stuff. So my assistant held the light up, you know, I exposed, you know, and went from there. We kind of caught this all in one capture, right? Maybe it looks like an album cover image or whatever it is. I'm just trying something different on the day of. It doesn't have to be the regular traditional engagement session stuff. But when he sees himself like this, he can take it and he can put it in an album, or he can hang this up on a wall. Yeah. Now you not only went from an album sale, you also went to a print sale that can go on his wall now. Ching ching.
Yep, I could definitely see that on a wall. Absolutely. And I'm not even him.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, I learned to practice my expressions. This is Ariel. This is my muse. We go out all the time. She has an incredible schedule, so when I need her, she's always available, and we just go out and practice. And it's cool because she makes it hard on everybody else, because she'll give me expression after expression after expression. And so I shoot her here sometimes. Sometimes we'll switch up. We'll do things here, and then sometimes we'll go, you know, in the same area, and we'll just shoot behind some weeds. It was just literally some weeds growing up, and I just kind of backed up, and I kind of shot her from there. Any questions in between here before I move on? I'm almost done.
As far as you mentioned that this is your muse, I guess, would you recommend to photographers to go out there and say, to fine-tune their eyes, to go out there and just experiment with different angles, different viewpoints when they practice?
No question. There's no question. That was the part with me going back to the part where I said, you know, expressing yourself without the people. Because if you don't do it, it's just like anything. If you have a car and you don't run it, what do you think that car is going to do when she try to start up and really go somewhere now? Right? It's the same thing. If we don't do it with our brains, they're going to atrophy. They're going to die out eventually. And you're going to say, oh man, what do I want to do now? I want to, I don't know. You know, but if you keep yourself in constant rotation, it's almost like they say, right? If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Yeah. Right? So I would concentrate everybody to do. Just
totally agree. From the viewers, they don't have any questions, but I'm looking at the comments, and you probably can see the comments as well. It seems to be resonating, the message resonating with the viewers.
Awesome. Shoot through the moments until it's over. This is very important. This is a little bit longer than some of the other segments, but it's not going to be as long. Like I said, I'm almost done with the presentation, but it's not as long, but I'm almost over. But this part is very, very important, right? You want to shoot through until it's over. Typical maternity session. You're trying something different. You know, couple on the bench. I love this girl because she was actually, we kind of collaborated on it. She's like, well, I have she kind of said, I had a little stuffed animal. I think I put it there. No, she put it there. I kind of grabbed the arm to like say it was on the bench. I kind of laid this sweater here. She put the little booties under here. So it was really cool. But right, so you kind of get them and who they are with the nice expression, nice clean clothes, nice clean background. You let the sun hit her hair, expose and go from there. Then it's a matter of, I think he said something cool, you know, with her. And then you kind of catch that moment. But it's still, I'm pretty much in the same scene. Because remember, from the beginning, it's about where you stand, right? So here, now when you see that side by side in the album, how can you not buy that? How can you not buy that? Or now, when they buy this album, they can actually take this photo and they can put it in the children's room, you know, once they have the baby. So now it's now you're doing double sales versus just one sale now.
Yeah.
The same thing, couple here, Haas and Charity, as they're shooting here, and I'm like, Haas, do me a favor, just squeeze her, Haas, just squeeze her until she pops. And they're like, what? Just squeeze her until she pops. And then you kind of get this expression. It's just the little piece. It's just the little things I'm going for. You know, because you could have shot this and said, oh, I got my shot. I'm cool. Stay until it's over. That's why when my wife and I watch movies, we always wait until the credits keep rolling and then the movie's actually done. We wait until the screen moves and the lights come on. We stay until it's done. So that's what you all should do. Same thing here. You remember this guy, right? Now the bride is coming down. I got his expression here, right? Because it's about where you stand. Now I focused on her here because she's looking at like some of his buddies like making jokes as they're there, right? She's coming up on him. He turns around. Now, I could have said, okay, cool. Now, here's what most people would have done, right? They'd have waited. Then they got their smile. They'd have said, oh, man, that's lovely. They'd have put their photo, their camera down, and immediately start doing.
Oh, my God, that is me. You just described me right there.
Yeah. You just start chipping, right? You just start chipping, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And then you would have missed this shot right here.
That one is so funny.
You would have missed that shot right there. Stay until the movie is over, man. You know, you'd have waited and said, "Oh, they got each other cool." Let me see my exposure now. Forget about it. Just keep going. Keep going. Keep going. You would have missed the cool shot right there.
Yeah,
now,
is cool.
Right here, because to me, this is at the height of the expressive series, right? This is at the height of it, right? Once she did that, that's at the height of it for me.
And I'm probably sure she picked that picture too. But like, I want that one.
yeah, absolutely. Because for his mouth to go like, "Oh my God," and has like, you know, it's a cool moment between them, you know.
Yeah.
Now, I did an engagement session. The family was like, you know, they want to include their daughter. No problem, let's go. They bought they rented a cool hotel, and we said we can go for it. So we did a easy family shoot. Then we moved on. Now, watch the subtleties in it, right? It's just about expression now. It's not about color. It's not about anything. It's not about the hard editing. It's not light and airy. It's just about expression only. You see, just a little turn. Hands are the same. Feet are the same. But look at his face and look at her face. Watch her hand on the top of his head. See when she grabbed his head, what he did?
Yeah.
Just a little piece of expression. You just listen to them when they talk, and Eddie loves this and Eddie loves that. Hey, do me a favor, Leslie, just kind of grab Eddie by the head. When she does that, that's what he did. But again, I pretty much didn't move. I'm in the same space. Now, Eddie, grab her, you know, put that, because I think he had his phone over here holding his phone. I could put the phone down. I'm like, you got this gorgeous lady in front of you, dude? Put that phone down. What are you doing? I'll be all over her. And then, you know, as I got closer and stayed right there, this stuff started happening. And then, you know, she really started grabbing him up. And if you notice, his hand went up the thigh.
Yeah.
Went up the thigh, right? Cool. I just shot this, I'll say about 2 weeks ago when I was in Boston, right? So you shoot this couple, right? And you stay until the movie is over, right? You kind of got the shot here, right? He kind of licked her face. It's nasty for some. But the cool part is you watch all the expressions. So you got this blue jay right here. And you could label this as I see you licking my girl, right? I see you, right? Bird, eye, looking. Don't worry about it. It didn't work. So you kind of got this expression, and you kind of see what happens. Then he kisses her here, and then they kind of come out of it, right? So I go back, same thing, kisses her here, and then they come out of it. You just stay until it's over. So if you had to now, this part is very important. I know this is not about editing, but this part works because if you had to now, and you had to, the way I do when I edit, I kind of pare down and say what doesn't belong, right? So I can sit here and say, okay, I'll keep this one. They may like this, they may not like it. He may like it because he did it on her. She stayed there, so she may or may not like it. But then she may still like the kiss on him. This one, they're kind of finished. I can throw this one out. So a lot of times you got to be an expert also to know what to edit when you're actually making album sales. That's the reason you love Martin Scorsese. That's the reason you love all the big guys, the Steven Spielbergs, because they're master editors. It's what you don't see is why you like them.
Great.
Another form of expression, you know. I'm just glad I caught it in the right space with his head right here, you know. Another form of expression with the couple, right? So that's all I try to do. They love backgrounds. We drove around Boston in the cold looking for backgrounds. That's what we did. So I try to keep expressing them. But remember what I said, I get bored, right?
Yeah.
So I'm always saying, how can I take the same thing and keep expressing it? So that's what I did here. Same couple. I just wanted to express them more.
Pretty
right?
cool.
We're on the bridge. I got real low. It was the way these trees were coming. I said, you know what if I can somehow get these trees pointing towards them? And that's what we did, you know, and we just kind of made it happen from here, you know.
Pretty cool capture.
Yeah.
Very dramatic.
Thank you. And so now this is the last part. As photographers, people hire us to solve the problem. You know, this is what we are, right? You know, so this is what we're problem solvers, right? So this is the quick story. This couple right here, this is called the Gramercy Hotel. If you know anything about it, it's real grand, really nice hotel. They give each couple a key and they say, hey, you can use our park free of charge. You have residents that live in the building, and of course they can be there as well. But they say no professional photography can actually go inside of the park. And she's like, Chad, but I wanted photos of us in the park. And I'm like, yeah, but Leslie, I can't come in here. And I felt like my daughter says, yeah, but, and I was like, yeah, but I really can't get in there. And she's like, I said, okay, give me a second, because I will not be defeated. And I said, give me a second. I said, let me figure it out. And I said, okay, you know what? I said, here's what we'll do. I said, I'll set you guys up. I'll shoot between the bars and we go from there. And she trusts me. That's the thing I love about it. Once you kind of get the trust factor with the clients, they'll let you do whatever, because when you say you're going to do it, you'll deliver. Just like, you know, when it comes to customer service. So I said, cool. So I kind of remember when you shoot without people, a lot of times this would be me on a regular day, just saying, wow, if I shot this arrow and a couple was there, I wonder, could I make that happen later on? So sometimes it'll come back to your brain. I don't know when, but sometimes it'll just come back to my brain. That's why you kind of keep yourself in constant rotation. So that's what I did, literally. I wish I had the video for you. I have to find it. Maybe next time you invite me onto your show, I'll have the video for you. But, you know, this is what we did. I kind of had them do this several times, and we kind of kept walking. This is their daughter, Bentley. I mean, she's like a total ham. I mean, she kept making expressions every time. Perfect family. He designs clothes. She's a nurse. It's a great family. And that's what I did. I literally stuck my 7200 between the bars, and I made it happen. So they couldn't tell. You can't tell whether this was, you know, behind the bars or anything.
Can't.
Same thing here, you know. I had to think. 7200, it's compression. It'll be just like I'm there in between the bars. I'll be smart. I'll put this in the foreground so it makes it feel like that I'm actually there, and let's go from there. So remember from the beginning, right? I didn't know when I was going to use the arrow, so that's when you use the arrow now.
Yeah, that's a pretty nice one.
And then the last one we finished up, you know, we kind of did some cool stuff here. Put them in between like a nest of trees, like this. You know, had them get a great form of expression to hold them, you know.
Yeah, that's a nice composition.
Yeah, I made it happen, man. And I am Finn.
Finn. I like that. Finn. There's two things I'm walking away from. Well, there's more than two things, but two things I heard that I'm going to use going forward in my photography. What is it? The turtle reference.
Turtle shell.
Turtle shell. Put it on the turtle. Lay down a turtle shell. And yeah. Finn. I like that. I like that. All right, guys. That was wow. That was an awesome presentation. I really, really enjoyed it. There's a lot of good nuggets in there, man. There's a lot of good nuggets.
Appreciate it.
So let's see if you guys have any questions for Chad at this point. Please put those questions in the chat. You know, basically, if you guys, you know, focus on expression, you will increase your sales. So I think he just showed you the whole journey, the whole story, you know? Hang on. What's Photo Me Ike is saying? What up, Photo Me Ike?
Is that Ike?
Yeah.
My
Ike is
God.
in the building. Chad is a hack. Chad is a hack. He has no skill.
What
He
you
just
say?
talks fast like a New York hustler.
Sorry, you know, in my brain, if I slow down, I think I'm talking like this. I'm sorry.
No, he's joking. You guys are buddies.
Just go back and put the video on -2.
That's a good one. Must watch, absolute rewatch. So basically, no questions coming in yet, but basically, a lot of people is resonating with your message, man. I think this was an awesome presentation. Let me just read through here. Great one, Chad. Big ups. I know your custom design, your books. Who makes them? Oh, that was at Photo Me Ike. There you go, Ike Hayden. Ike Hayden.
One of my friends just came on. Her name is Beatrice Morici. She's from Italy. She's here in New York for the first time ever, and I would love for her to come on your show. She's an amazing photographer. She's amazing art photographer out of Italy, fresh from Tuscany.
When she's heading back?
She's heading back in April.
In April. So she's still hanging around. Yes, hook her up. Tell her about the show.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys. Oh, so here's a question from Eric. Love your work, Chad. Any workshops that you have attended that you would recommend?
Yes, my own.
Exactly. I was about to just say that. Yeah, if you go on his website, he has a section on there for workshops. So if you go to his website, by the way, all of his details is in the description of this video below. So his website, his Instagram, his Twitter, all that information is in the description. So if you click there, go to his website, you will find workshops there.
And so, Eric, yeah, anything you want to know, sir, you can actually email me, because I'm actually doing a small workshop coming up. You know, I wasn't gonna make a big announcement, but it's gonna be no more than like 6 people. I think 6 is gonna be the maximum that I'm doing. Once I come back from WPPI in February, you know, a little small one that I'm doing. So yeah,
you gotta come to the. I know you're going to different. I know you're gonna go to the the judging. Then go and do that.
Yeah.
But you gotta come and join myself, Ike, and the gang for the dinner that we're gonna be having. I don't know if you're gonna have any time to come and walk with us for the photo walk, but you gotta come and. I don't know.
You know, when I saw Ike last year, he had this T-shirt on, and you know, Ike is huge. You know, he's huge up here, right? He's like out here, and I wanted to challenge Ike to a push-up contest, and I thought he was gonna balk on me, so I said, "Let's go." He looked at me and said, "Let's go," and I was like, "Oh, you were serious?" I wasn't serious, and so, I'm working on you, Ike. We're working on it.
Well, he's bulking up just for WPPI. Well, bulking up in muscle, but reducing the fat.
Yeah.
So he's getting ready for the WPPI. Question, that was for Chad. My bad. Who makes his books? From Ben, he's asking the question, who makes your albums?
My wedding albums. Right now, I have several people. I'm in between, but I think right now I'm using Queensberry. Queensberry a little bit on the expensive side, but that's who I use.
So here's a question from Rode. He's asking, great presentation, big fan. What do you suggest for up-and-coming wedding photographers to get more couples to shoot?
For more wedding couples, man, that's a loaded question, because when you say more wedding couples, like, is it couples that are already wedding couples?
Well, I think he's trying to get more clients, basically.
Oh, more clients. Well, I'll tell you what I did. I can't give you a definite, but I can tell you what I did. What happened is I second shot for a few different people, and I just simply asked them, hey, do you mind if I put some of the images on my website? And they would give me parameters. They would say, hey, you can put them on your blog, but not on your main site. And if you do put them on your blog, you just got to change the name for SEO purposes. And I said, no problem. So I would literally work on those images as if it was my wedding and it was my full time at the time. And I just relentlessly kept doing it, kept doing it, kept doing it until eventually I ran into a friend of mine. And again, just how I was out, like I said, I was shooting garbage and I was out just kind of shooting random stuff. She says, "Oh, I like this image." It was the image of like a cobblestone street in Brooklyn, in Red Hook, Brooklyn. And she says, "I like this image. My brother's getting married. Can you shoot his wedding?" And I said, "Oh, okay." And I never forget, she says, "How much?" And I said, $1,000? And I didn't know. And she says, "Okay, we could do that." We hung up the phone, and I told my wife, I said, "Oh my God, I'm getting $1,000. I said, "Oh my God, $1,000. I mean, I was going crazy. I was going crazy. I think, bro, that's the best way to kind of shoot as much as you can. Ask people to shoot with them, even if they don't pay you, because right now you're trying to get your foot in the door, and constantly work on your work. One thing I'm an EXIF data junkie. Like I hate it sometimes because I keep watching the numbers. I'm not a big technical guy, but I know the EXIF data will tell you a lot about what you're doing and a lot of mistakes you're making. And I constantly watch that, and I constantly keep working on myself constantly, you know. So if you really want to do it, it's a constant behavior. You have to adapt, like getting up and brushing your teeth.
Agreed. So Bryce I have a question here. Bryce Holden, do you recommend going to wedding shows? So let me read out his question here. Do you recommend going to wedding shows to start getting clients until word of mouth starts working for you?
Well, with wedding shows, if you don't really have the money for it, right? I'm going to address it two different ways, because if you don't really have the money for it, depending on the show, you can pay, let's say they charge you $250 just for a table, just for the table and the space. It's a little small table, and you say, "Well, I want a larger table." Okay, so we're going to charge you $350 for the table in this space. You want to be closer to the front, it's more money, right? Then you have to dress the table up. You got to buy more albums. You have to buy, you know, you have to dress it up to make it look appealing to the next bride that's coming there. So you could lose out. Now, it's not a guarantee if you'll get a wedding or not. I did one because there was a friend of mine doing it. It was at the theater at the Apollo. I did it. I think she only charged she charged us like $100, whatever. But the reason I did it is because she said, "You'll be the only vendor in the space. It's a small room, so we're gonna have one photographer, one DJ, one florist." And so I said, "Yeah, let's do it." And then she had upgrades if you wanted to go into a magazine and a book and raffles and things like that. So if you're going to do it, you got to be very specific, and it's a whole strategic plan behind it. Again, that's another workshop that I can teach on that one, but it's very specific if you're going to do it.
That's interesting. The previous guest I had on last week on the Talking Business show, pretty much he had the same message. He's talking about large wedding shows is obviously the return on your investment. Probably you may or may not get it, you know, because it's a significant investment. And then as far as smaller venues, like smaller wedding shows, he was saying if you were to go there and it's really, you know, condensed and it's really smaller, that's where you probably get more bang for your buck.
It got to be, if it's small, you want to make sure, you know, it's a certain clientele of brides that's coming in there and things like that. And again, without saying this, you have to make sure it's the bride that appreciates the work that you do, right? Because you can go and pay for it, but if all these brides are used to being shot in castles and sweeping landscapes and things like that, and you don't have that work, then you just kind of wasted some money and some time. And you talk to some good people. So it has to be up to your clientele and what you're fishing for. That's very, very important. Or you can just take the money, do a good job for them and say, cool, but you don't have that same fulfillment.
At that, well, I hear a lot of people push wedding shows, and it's interesting to hear, you know, from you and others that actually, you know, do this stuff full time. Don't necessarily, not necessarily, not that you guys don't subscribe to it, and probably not, you know, you probably would participate in it at some point, but it sounds, for the overall, it sounds like the large wedding shows, you know, maybe if you're like a big time photographer, and they probably could spend the money on it, where it's more like what you would call it, like advertising, you know, like you usually have like advertising dollars allocated for, you know,
And again, the wedding shows are almost like the photography again, like where you stand. It's all about placement and location. You know, if they're gonna put you way in the back, you know, by the time the bride gets to you and she's been to 11 photographers, she's just like, oh, what's your name? Okay, your name Ernesto. Okay, cool. You got brochures, anything? I'm gonna just take them, throw it in the bag, and I look at all this. And she's hoping now your brochure has to be a masterpiece, right? For her to remember you, because if not, she's just sorting through all the other 11 photographers she went through. Yeah, it's the whole science. It's literally a science to bridal shows. I hear guys say, "Oh man, just spend this money at $2,500 and come out. You get one bride, then it's worth the money." Suppose you don't get it. Well, then I mean, you can dumb it down in your brain different ways. You can say, "Then I paid for some knowledge," and you know. But again, I don't want to pay $2,500 for some knowledge. You know, not in that aspect. I'd rather go on a trip if I'm gonna do it that way.
Yeah, definitely. So Rod is asking, "What's your favorite go-to lighting setup for wedding receptions?"
You want to see? Let me see. I actually use the Godox. You know the Godox?
Yeah, Godox. Yeah.
I use Godox. You know, I have 4 Canon triggers, 4 Canon flashes, and I have all the stuff. And so when I got introduced to the Godox, it kind of made sense for me because I said, wait a minute, this flash is $200. It talks to the other flash. I don't need like an extra piece of equipment because I was the guy that had the hamburger because I would take the, you know, I would have the Pocket Wizard, you know, tape to the top of the flash, cord running on the side of it or the sync cord and everything. And sometimes it worked, sometimes it wouldn't. I said, wait a minute, this is $200. So if I take the Canon flash and it gets damaged, I'm a Canon CPS member. I can get it fixed for $2 something. I can get it fixed for $2 something. This flash is $200 all in. I'm like, well, shoot, if I break this, I can get a new flash for $200. And I said, dude, this is it. And they work. They work.
Yeah, they work. Ben is asking here, Chad, are you on the gentrification side of Brooklyn?
No, I'm not.
And Unora Francis. I think we just already addressed this, but I think he might be asking, do you use any off-camera lighting when shooting at wedding venues or on camera?
Yeah, so it's different, right? Man, it's okay. So I get. Let me see. Do I have a? Yeah. Okay. Do I have time to show one image right quick?
Yeah.
Let's see if I have my capture one up. Is capture one still up? I may have to bring it up while we're talking. But what happened is sometimes people use lighting at weddings, and again, to each their own, right? So I'm not here to knock who uses what and whatever else. It's just for me, I want to be light and compact. I don't want to go there with a big giant soft box and I got to kind of like, because I've done it. I had the big giant soft box. I brought my C-stand, had all those contraptions up. Now my assistant is running around frantic and crazy and everybody's trying to get something up. And it's like, it's just really, it's really berserk. Now I kind of use like one particular lighting setup. Let me see, can I show you I think I have an image straight out the camera. Yeah, I'll show one image straight out the camera right here, right quick. Let's go here. Share screen right quick. Can you guys see this?
Yeah, I see it.
So this is the image kind of straight at the camera. But again, this was done by the little small Gary Fong, the little white thing. Mm-hmm. Or that was it. That was it. The buddy of mine saw it and he says, "You got all that power at that little thing?" What's the thing of if you know your gear, then you know what it can and cannot do. Zach Arias, which is one of my favorite photographers out of Atlanta, he says, know the limitations of your gear. Learn what it can do and learn what it cannot do. And once you do that, I know I didn't need a big, because our time was limited. I didn't have, and I was in the Bahamas right here. I didn't have time to bring, a big softbox, a big C-stand. Listen, put this flash with this orb on the monopod, hold it up real high, back it up. Let's put the spread on like 24, 35. Let's do a test shot. All right, cool. I got my test shot. Okay, everybody look here. Here we go. Cool. We got some expressions. You guys kiss. Keep going. Cool. Yeah, you guys kiss here. Let's go ahead. Now you guys kiss. You guys keep going. Now, as they kiss, now you see breakout. You see the bride with her makeup artist. They're doing that. You see the brothers here at the top. They're going crazy. And we just kind of keep having fun. she did this and went crazy, and we just kind of have fun, and that's how it goes. That's how it goes.
Good example.
Yeah. So again, you can use whatever makes you comfortable. I don't want to, because I can steer you in the wrong direction by saying, hey, get this. I've done it. I've used the big Ellen Chrome softbox, and the light was magic. When I got home, I didn't have to do anything to it. I just tried to add some contrast out of habit, but the light was magic. But it was a headache holding this big thing up, and use what you can, man, to get the results. But it comes from practice.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Totally agree. I'm gonna switch gears here really quickly, just to promote one item, which is the WPPI event that we have, really quickly here. So, guys, on February 27th, when I say we, I mean myself and Ike, is having a photo walk in Vegas on February 27th at WPPI. So if you guys are going to be out in Vegas for the WPPI event, come out and join us. So far, it seems like 2 guests is going to be out there. Chad is going to be out there as well. I don't know if he's going to join us on the photo walk, but maybe he could join us for dinner. You could get to meet Chad in person. So come out February 27th to the photo walk, and basically what we're going to be covering is lighting, posing, composition, and gear. I'm not the gear head, but Ike is definitely going to cover those gears and stuff with you guys. But we're going to be covering all that kind of stuff on the photo walk. We're going to have a model, and we're going to show you our combined knowledge of what I have learned, what Ike learned, put all that stuff together, and give you guys all the information that we can possibly provide on that day. So come on out, join us. So if you haven't signed up yet, come on and sign up. I know if you're not going to WPPI, I know you can just fly out for that day, and it's really dirt cheap to fly out. So come on out and join us. All right. So I just want to plug that really quickly, and then back.
I just want to do one more thing.
Yeah.
Just to kind of add value to what you're doing. So I wanted to show you users kind of like just 2 spreads of an album that I have, just so they can see kind of what I'm talking about and the way I think when it comes to the album sales and things like that, right? So if you don't mind, if you have
good. I'm done with my plug.
Let's see here. Let me know if you guys can see this. Can you guys see this?
Yeah, I see it.
So when I shot this bride, right, I shot her in various forms, right? So I try to get different pieces of her. But when you lay down the album, it makes sense, right? So she had like this Louis Vuitton perfume, and so I just kind of laid that in the middle. And again, I just took her here, took her here, took her here, took her here, right? And I'm taking different pieces of her on purpose. That way I can find, the right image to actually lay out. Same thing with the parent shots, purposely. Now we're actually in the room. This is actually the room like in the hotel where, the hospitality room. And we actually literally kind of work the thing out with the management and ask, hey, can we move the tables? And we'll promise to put them back. He even said, no, because if you hurt yourself, you're going to sue us. So we had to sign a form that just says, hey, if we get hurt, it's on us. But literally, so we put that there. Hey, ask my bride to hold the flowers there. Ask her and her mom look that way, just some gorgeous light, as they would do with any Renaissance painting. Same thing with the father and the daughter, and the mother and the father, and we kind of go from there. So it's these things right here. When I'm thinking about album spreads, I'm always thinking about how can I sell the album spreads? Even another one, right? So let's go past this one with the guy here. With the girlfriends. Shot all the girlfriends on purpose. But now what do you think when they see all of the images in here? They're going to want to buy the images. Possibly all of them, possibly a third of them. But you're always constantly thinking about album sales, then I'm thinking about the user, right? They will want some clean images, and I'll say, what, I'll put everybody in the same light, the same way. That way nobody says, well, she kind of got it this way and she kind of got it this way. Get everybody in the same way, nice clean expression. You put in the album, it's more ching for you.
Yeah.
So that's what I try to do, man. When I try to lay the albums out, I try to think of the user and and just kind of go from there.
Yeah, I think that is really powerful. Shoot for you know, shoot with the story in mind, but also shoot for, you know, the spreads.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Photo Me Ike is saying, oh, by the way, thank you, Mike, for your super chat. Appreciate it very much.
Awesome.
Photo Me Ike is saying, ask Chad what he thinks of WPPI and how he likes it.
I like WPPI. So I've been going. So in New York, they have the little brother of WPPI called PPE, which is Photo Plus Expo, and I've been going there for maybe like 12 to 14 years, and it's always really cool. WPPI is like the bigger, grander scale because PPE is about 3 days, where WPPI is about 6 days. I haven't been going to that as long. I've been going probably from 2016 up until now, so about 2 years. But you know, again, the networking I love. You know, I've had friends that came last year and they said, "Well, I didn't get anything out of it," but when you see their demeanor, they're just really cool and they're just really laid back and they're just not really going to talk. Well, here's the deal. When I was in high school, I had a friend. He says he went to a D1 college, and he said when you get in the locker room and you telling everybody like, hey man, I was all county this and I was all state this, they don't want to hear that because all of them came to that D1, that Division I school. Everybody was a superstar. Everybody was all county. Everybody was all state. Everybody was on the pro, this and that. So it's the same thing. When you go to these big conventions, if you think you're going to just present your work and just be a wonder and not really, you know, put the effort into talk, because remember what I said, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. They want to see you. Sometimes people don't, they can buy into your product, but they want to buy into you first. And so that's when I go and I just present myself and I talk to some of any and everybody. But I wasn't always like this. Like me being on this show, man, you should have called me back in after high school. I would not even be talking like this at all. But I had to come into my own and kind of realize, you know, who I was and, you know, where I am and where I'm going. So I actually love it, man, because it's the camaraderie. You watch the trade shows, some of the biggest stars you actually see. Go up to them, talk to them. Real quick story. It's a guy named Colin Smith. I saw him and I said, everybody's at the bar, we're just kind of talking. And I said, sir, what's your name? I said, I've been seeing you the last 3 years and I've never said anything to you. I said, what's your name? He said, Colin Smith. I'm like, Colin Smith, I know you. And he's like, come on, like, you don't know me. You just saying that. I said, Colin Smith. I said, I have a Wacom tablet. I said, I bought the DVD. And I said, the DVD where you told me to draw the circles and put X's through them, his face turned white. He said, oh my God, you do know who I am. And I said, can I get a photo? He was like, yeah. The people want to see that stuff, man. So go out, make somebody feel happy, and make sure you learn something in the process. Don't go there and be super cool and say, well, I didn't get anything out of it. If you didn't get out of it, if you didn't get anything out, you didn't put anything in, whether that was physically or whether that was like socially.
Yeah, I think that was what you just said, it was the big selling point for me with respect to WPPI. I never wanted to go to WPPI until I basically put the same twist that you just put on it. And that convinced me.
Yeah.
Ben, no, I will not be giving out my giving away my old Sony if you come to WPPI. No, I'll give away some interesting knowledge if you want, but not my old Sony. No, I don't think I want to give away the first camera I ever had. You know, it's kind of like
I had my first Canon, and my wife, I was gonna give it to my assistant. She said, "Excuse me." I said, I'm gonna give it to Randy. And she said, excuse me? And I thought I could have said something wrong. So I slowed down. I said, I'm going to give it to Randy. And she says, no, you're not. Like, this is your very first one. I started thinking, like, you know what? I got a son. So maybe he will want it, but it's my first one. So I shouldn't give it away.
Yeah. I think I think this was answered. I think Photo Me Ike may have answered. He was asking, Rhoda is asking, what software do you use for the albums?
To cull through images efficiently. Album.
Well, the one that you were just showing.
Oh, that was Smart Albums, but to actually cull through images, I use Photo Mechanic.
Okay. So there you go. And Photo Me Ike answered that. Let's see here. See if there's any more. What do you use for cull? Oh, okay. You just answered that. What do you use to cull through your images? So Photo Mechanic. Chad, so DMAC is asking, Chad, do you know Brian L. Christian from Atlanta?
maybe if I see a photo of them, because someone will say, "Hey, but we're friends on Facebook." I approve anybody.
I am the opposite. I mean,
Yeah.
I have maybe, I think, close to 200 people that sent me like 200 or so friend requests.
Okay.
I just, cause Facebook and me, social media period, I just don't get along with social media. I only use it because I need to share my images. But other than that, I don't get on social media that much. And plus, if I don't know you in person per se, or I never spoken to you, and I just get like a weird friend request, not vibe, but just a friend request. Because in the past, I used to just say, okay, yeah, fine, whatever, accept. And then I get like these crazy feeds, and when I log on to Facebook, and I'm like, what the hell? Why am I seeing this? So
the way I kind of look at it is this, like, again, I agree with you on those because I've approved sometime, and then when I approved it, the girl is like, hey, do you want to see me naked? And you're like, what the heck is this? And then you got to go in there and got to go through like 4 different channels to block the person. But the way I see it as, I just approve anybody that asks me, especially if they look legit, because it's like, it's social media, right? Like once it hits the internet, you may think it's dead, but somewhere down the line, you'll find it. It's a website called, I think it's called Wayback Machine, where you can type like your old websites and you'll see like a piece of it, maybe not the whole website, but a piece of it will come back. And that was scary because I'm like, oh my God, this is my very first website. Just a piece of it came up. I think it's called Wayback Machine, but it kind of showed me that, if I don't want it to be on social media, I shouldn't show it, right? So if I'm on there already, I'm kind of giving, everybody access anyway, so it's like, I don't, again, I don't show everything, but I show enough that's like, here's what I'm doing for the day and things like that, so.
Hey, Ben, I think you're going to lose that battle because I don't drink at all. So there will be no alcoholic beverages being consumed to loosen me up. So that'll be that. But yeah, so as far as I guess the show, I don't think anybody have any more pertinent questions related to the topic that of the presentation. Someone just came in? Another question just popped in? Yeah?
No, I don't know.
Oh, okay. I thought you were pointing at a question.
No, as I'm saying, I don't say anything. I was kind of scared.
Okay. So since we're not getting any additional questions related to or unrelated to the topic of the broadcast today, so I'm going to try to put the show to a close. So before we close it out, so Chad, do you have, anything that you want to tell the people before we close this out? Any workshops, anything that you have going on that you want to make people aware of?
Yeah. If you can, guys, just go to my email, which is chat@SoBeItArtPhotography, and just send me a message, or better yet, you can go to my Instagram and send me a DM if you're interested in a workshop. Like I said, I'm doing probably one for this top of this year, maybe about in March or something like that, and I'm only doing 6 people. After that, I'm capping it. And again, my goal is never to make money, so when you see it, the price won't be really out of your range, because I always think, I try to think as a business owner, but then I try to think as a person who just came into the photography situation or the game, right? A lot of times you don't have the money, but you still want to learn. So while the price is not going to be free, it's not going to be super enormous to you can't afford it. I'll help you find a way to get to the knowledge that you seek. And again, I'm not the end all to be all. I'm the part that I'm going to come, I'm going to show you, I'm going to give you out a bunch of game, I'm going to tell you where to go to get the rest of the game, and then you can go from there,
So you cover business, it sounds like, as well in the workshop, or is this photography?
It's photography, but then we still talk about business as well.
Okay.
Again, my sessions go long. Again, like I said, I'm never, you can ask my former students, I never short anybody. I think the last one I had in Atlanta, we started at 1 in the afternoon. We did into like 1, 2 in the morning. So again, for some that may be long, but for some people were still standing around there like, okay, cool. This was great, because I'm giving you everything you ask. I'm not holding anything back. I'm giving you all, any questions you have and how to do it and achieve it, whatever I have, I want to share it and give it out.
I think that's one of the things that's really, really important about workshops is, you know, you could attend certain workshops and you feel like when you walk away from the workshops, maybe you walk away with maybe one thing that maybe you could remember, but it would feel really, really good if you go to a workshop and you could walk away with all the answers that you wanted addressed, you know, all the questions that you wanted addressed. So I think the fact that you stay so long to make sure that all those questions is addressed, I think is a real tament to your teaching skills.
You have to, because I've been to seminars where you say, hey, what's 2 + 2? And they're like, I'm going to come back to you. And they never come back to you. Now, I'm not saying they did it on purpose because maybe they kind of got sidetracked, but she was like, okay, I'll come back to you. When you leave, you're like, man, I wanted to know what 2 + 2 was, but they just couldn't answer it. So I'm the guy that when it's over, I'm making you kind of play back to me, like, what did you learn from that? Like, give me some of your notes. Like, what did you learn, and what behaviors will you change now? And I'll literally do follow-ups with you. Like, I'll email you, I'll ring you up, I'll text you, things like that. Things that, I've never experienced from other workshops. Like, I care, and I'll ask you, hey, what's going on? Like, what's going on? I had one of my students hit me today, and he asked, hey, I have some images. Can you kind of review them? Of course, yeah. You were in my class. I didn't say, well, if you want to pay me extra, I can do that for you. It's like, listen, man, you were in my class, you wanted the knowledge, you came out, supported, now let me support you. That's how I roll.
Yeah, that is awesome. Ben, you're gonna be in WPPI. You're gonna come to the photo walk. Is that why you're saying you want to loosen me up with some French vanilla, Ciroc? So I hope to see you there if you're coming to the photo walk. That would be awesome.
Thank you, Ben. Where's Ben from?
I have no idea where Ben is from.
In Halstead.
Ben, where are you from?
Michael Pierce said this channel is hot. It's a good thing.
Well, you bring the heat. People talking about you bringing the New York swag.
And the funny thing is, I'm from New Jersey. I'm from Newark, New Jersey. But I live in Brooklyn.
And I grew up in the Bronx, New York, people.
Yeah, nice.
So New York is in the building.
Yeah, so my homegirl Lonnie, she always does this like BX.
Yeah. All right. So he's not answering where he's from. Oh, I forget there's a lag on this as well. So I'll give him some time there to answer the question.
It's really cool, man. Like I said, I hope I said something that resonated with someone. Again, it probably was a little long, but I don't know sometimes how to dumb it down and give you everything I want you to learn, right? Because it's really important to me at this stage of my life that you learn something that I'm giving you. So that's why, I try to make it thorough as possible. Like I said, my goal wasn't to try to put a bunch of wow images in there for you to fall in love with my photography versus falling in love with the knowledge that I'm giving to you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it was at the right pace. It gave a lot of good information. It didn't feel at any point in time like I felt like it was, dragging or anything like that. It was an amazing presentation. It was really, really good. So he's not answering. So Ben, go ahead.
He's from Philly.
Oh, he did. Oh, he's from Philly.
Yeah, my best friend is actually in Philly. He's from North Philly. My best friend. So that's cool.
So Ben, I hope to see you at WPPI, especially at our photo walk. I'm hoping to see you there. All right. Yeah. But no promises on the drinks or my Sony camera. All right. So, all right, guys. Look, Chad, I really, really appreciate you participating in the show.
Thank you for the opportunity, man. Thank you, and thank Ike.
Yeah. Yes, Ike. By the way, Ike was the one that basically hooked me up with Chad. So, Ike, thank you for the hookup. I appreciate it. Chad is the homie. That's Ike's favorite term. Chad is the homie. So yeah. So yes, man. So thank you very much.
I'm waiting for Ike to invite me to Blink though, but
yeah. I want to be a speaker. I don't know. I don't know if they're having it anymore. I don't know if they're having Blink anymore.
Awesome, awesome.
But yeah, I appreciate you coming on the show. Hopefully we can have you on again. You know, you could educate us on another topic. But yeah, Ike is still in the building. Yeah, hopefully we can have you on again and educate us on another topic, because it's always interesting to, you know, hear from other photographers that's actually, you know, living the life as opposed to just, you know, just talking about it. I know Ike feels the same way. There's, you know, photographers online just talk about stuff and actually not doing it. So it's really good to hear from you guys that do this full time. So again, thank you. Appreciate it. It's very, very cool to have you on. You want to say something?
Answer one last person on here.
Yeah, yeah.
I see D Mac. He says, chat. So focusing or editing is not so important to you. He probably saw a picture that looked maybe blurry on here, but I don't know where you came on, D Mac, on the segment. As I said, my goal wasn't to, you know, have a whole bunch of edited, super cool photos and you fall in love with the retouching and all of the photo. It was just strictly for the bottom line of the information that I needed for you to get. But again, and if, you know, again, so that's the thing. And if you want to see the super cool or edited stuff, that's all on my social media, my website, and all that other stuff. This was strictly a lesson in the in the why, right? In the why of what I do, not so much the how, if that makes sense.
Yeah, if you want to check out the wow factor, go on his Instagram. You got the wow factor. So that is it, guys. This is it. So this is the end of the show. If you guys enjoy this live broadcast, please go ahead and give me, well, actually, before I close this out, just a quick reminder, since this is the last live broadcast for this week, I might do another one, like a Q&A, maybe on Friday, maybe or maybe not, I don't know yet. But next week, Monday, oh, I just remembered I didn't book anybody for Monday. I got to work on that. But Monday, we're going to have the Monday critique coming up next week. And then we're going to have another Talking Business show. We're going to be talking to a fashion photographer. You're going to tell us all about fashion and how to get into that area of photography, if that's what you want to get into for business. So that will be very exciting. He's an awesome photographer. He's based out of Connecticut. He was in North Carolina. Now he's in Connecticut. So yes, so we're going to have an awesome show next week. So basically, you know, come and join us again. Monday, Tuesday, we're going to have a ball again. So that is it. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. Put some comments down below. Let me know what you think about this show after it's no longer live. Please share this video with your friends and family if you think it will be helpful to them. And guys, if you got this far in the video, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys on the next video. I was gonna say stop being a stalker, but I'll just see you on the next video. All right, take care. Later. Let me